Although they are a rare sight in the United States, in Europe, station wagons are a popular part of most manufacturers' lineups. How that came about, at BMW at least, wasn't via exhaustive market research but rather an afterwards project. Max Risbach was the man responsible. High's smooth turbo diesel 6, roomy cargo hold, plush ride. Low's slightly noisier than the sedan, disappointing steering, likely to remain an ocean away. Back in the mid-1980s, Risbach was a mid-ranking BMW engineer frustrated by the inability of any of the company's sedans to carry the paraphernalia required by his growing family. With the practicality you'd expect from a German gearhead, he set about building his own wagon, buying an E39 sedan that had been involved in a rear-end collision and converting it into his dream long-roof transport. The process was carried out in a friend's garage and took 6 months, with the finished car impressing his colleagues enough for the company to sign off on a production version. Every 3 series from the E30 generation onward is offered a station wagon variant, as has every 5 series since the E34. But despite several attempts to sell BMWs wearing backpacks to Americans, none has been particularly successful. Lack of demand for the current 3 Series sports wagon means it likely will be the last sold here. It's a situation that seems certain to deny us the latest 5 Series wagon touring, in BMW parlance. Matters of the estate, we drove the new 5 Series touring in the United Kingdom, which remains one of BMW's biggest markets for station wagons, or estate cars, as the Brits say. While pretty much everything forward of the Capilla is common with the sedan, the Touring's added practicality and handsome lines make it a particularly compelling proposition. The latest iteration of the 5 Series has grown larger and become more sensible than its predecessor, and that holds true for the Touring even more so than for the sedan. It's not the largest luxury hauler on the market, but it makes a case for being the best all-rounder. Engine choices for the wagon are simplified slightly compared with the European sedan, with 3 gasoline and 3 diesel power plants. The 530i and 540i are mechanically identical to the eponymous US sedans, meaning a 248 horsepower inline-4 and a 335 horsepower inline-6, both turbocharged. There is also a 4-cylinder 520i in some markets. But it's the 3 diesels that will compose most of the sales volume, an entry-level 4-cylinder 187 horsepower 520d, a 228 horsepower 525d that uses a turned-up version of the 520d's turbocharged 2.0-litre. And finally the 530d with BMW's new B57 turbocharged 6-cylinder diesel that's good for 261 horsepower and 457 lb-ft of torque. That's the model we drove, equipped with the standard 8-speed automatic gearbox and optional all-wheel drive. This isn't quite as refined as the 530d sedan that formed a previous entry in our series on cars European automakers deny us. The Touring's open luggage compartment creates more interior volume for harmonic resonances to breathe in, and there's a slight but noticeable increase in road noise compared with the hushed sedan. Similarly, the loss of the structure behind the rear seats is almost certainly led to reduced rigidity, and per BMW's figures the Touring weighs some 200 pounds more. But such modest changes don't really diminish the 5 Series Touring. The diesel engine is all but inaudible under gentle acceleration, producing a pleasantly muscular hum with firmer throttle applications. The peak torque of 457 lb-ft is on deck and saluting at just 2,000 revolutions per minute, and the deftness with which the 8-speed auto shuffles its ratios means it doesn't need to be worked hard for rapid progress. Only in extremis does the engine own up to its diesel origins, as it is reluctant to rev beyond 4,500 revolutions per minute in response to transmission kickdowns. BMW's claimed 5.6 second 0 to 62 mph time with all-wheel drive is just 0.2 second behind that of the equivalent sedan. Ride comfort is outstanding, even on the 20-inch wheels of our test car. The standard air-sprung suspension does a fine job of dealing with both large bumps and rough surfaces. Steering remains a mild disappointment. The electrically assisted rack allows no real sensations to get through. And we'd like a manual gearbox, but even Europeans have given up on ordering those. The base 520D can be specified with a stick in some markets. The 5 Series isn't the biggest luxury wagon, but it presents its luggage space beautifully. The 20 cubic foot capacity with the rear seat backs up is 3 cubes less than in the Mercedes-Benz E-Class wagon, although it's fractionally more than you'll find in the Volvo V90, all according to Europe market measurement standards. With the rear seats folded, the 3 seat backs collapse individually. Volume increases to 60 cubic feet, which is 4 less than the supersize Benz but 6 cubic feet up on the Swede. The BMW also has separately opening tailgate glass, like the 3 Series wagon, allowing smaller items to be put into the cargo hold without opening the entire liftgate. Missing out while we've been told that at least one version of the 5 Series diesel will make it across the Atlantic, it seems highly unlikely that the Touring will follow it. Anyone looking for a more practical 5 Series will have to make do with the upcoming 6 Series Gran Turismo hatchback, or alternatively follow the herd and buy an X5. They don't know what they're missing.